All I needed is here in my arms. Words are very unnecessary. They can only do harm. Hello, everyone. It's Charlton. It's Charlton. It's Charlton. It's Charlton. Please subscribe to my channel and tap the notification bell. I'd appreciate it. I'd appreciate it. Majorly. Okay, so, there's the Wall Street Journal, and the Politico's got a little bit of a different, more information on this dude, Lev Parnas. Lev Parnas and Igor Fruman, they managed to get, it was, what's a private Instagram account of his. So somebody, obviously is got a membership, or I don't know what that's called, follows it. He's, one of his followers. So they were able to look at several photos of his, dating back to where the account started in 2015. Actually, this is the second picture here where he's pictured with Ivanka, and this is 2015. I'm just going to jump around a little bit, not spend a ton of time on this, but there's tons of pictures with him and the Trump family, him and his son picture with Trump in 2015, right when Trump was launching his campaign or thinking about launching his campaign. I don't know when he went down the escalator. I guess that was, June 2015, I think. I can't remember, man. Yeah, it was June 2015, something like that, June, July, whatever. So there's a photo of him and his son, picture with Trump. Let's see, dude, let's go. There it is right there. All right, so, and there's another, there's tons of them. With Eric, with Don. There's the photo of 2014 with him and Trump. And that was, well before the election. That was at Ivanka's fashion show somewhere in Florida, probably Boca Raton. I'm not real sure. That's where he's from, something like that, whatever. So, Trump denied adamantly, pretty point blank, denied knowing these people. I don't know what they do. I don't know these people. You're going to have to ask Rudy. And let me just kind of quickly go through all the photos there. But Politico talks, I'm here to talk about Florida, basically, pretty much. Politico talks about that. And DeSantis has already sort of dissociated himself. He kind of changed. His initial statement was, that is his recollection of the dude was that he was a huge fundraiser. He was a huge donor, and that's how he was seen, And so, yeah, he might have been in the picture, but he didn't know him more or less, And he returned the $50,000, I think, to the Treasury of the Treasury Department. That's what it says in here, I believe. But now it looks like he knew him a lot better than he sort of let on in his initial statement, and. In the final days of his election, which I've talked about this. This is why I'm talking about this election, this topic now. I've talked about Florida in my whole long playlist of, how I believe Trump and Hillary fixed the 2016 election, how I think Hillary lost on purpose. And, I couldn't possibly now know how all that worked. It's just there's so many things that just jump right out at me. That I'm like, that it's so shaky, man, so suspicious. And the Florida election was just an additional thing after the fact. And I think his election, was the same deal. I'll try to get into it without spending a ton of time. But in the final days, the dude, Lev Parnas, is seen photographed with Rudy Giuliani, basically tailing, going to several stops with him, and that's what Politico talks about. So, but before I do that, let me just kind of go through quickly some of these photos here. So that's him, pictured with the president. I assume that's probably Mar-a-Lago, but I don't really know. That's October 23rd, 2015. There's actually a video here, too. And you know what? It might be before that. There it is right there. I'll unplug for that because that's interesting. It's fun to listen. So this is just a little video. Again, same thing. I don't know where this is. This could be Mar-a-Lago. And this is him right there. That's Lev Parnas, just taking a quick video.
My lawyer. I paid this guy a fortune. In one photo, Parnas...
So, but there's several others, believe me. This is what Trump denies knowing him, because he does it. You know. I don't know him. It's pretty funny. Everyone's seen it, but we might as well see it again.
did not respond to a request for comment. After the men were indicted, Trump said,
"I don't know them. I don't know about them. I don't know what they do."
The note isn't dated.
That's a note, and this is, I think, around, that's August 27, 2018, when him and his associate Igor Fruman were doing a ton of donating money to Republican candidates. It says, right, it goes on to say that they, by the midterms, or by this time, I think it says by this time, they had donated, in excess of $500,000. And it tells you how, Lev Parnas, maybe Igor Fruman too, went on several stops with Giuliani throughout the country to Trump properties, and also to campaign, for certain candidates, Arizona, I think, Michigan, New Hampshire. Yeah, I don't want to spend a lot of time. Indiana. And then they traveled overseas as well. Florida. I'm talking about Florida, okay? Because Florida was the one where I watched these elections. I was on top of I was firmly behind Trump at this point, But even then, I started to think, that's really weird, man. Because I thought for sure Florida was toast. Just like the election. Exactly like the election, where all the polls were saying, that he doesn't have a chance. And Gillum seemed like he had it in the bag, And then mysteriously, it just flipped, and he ended up winning, And they recounted it, but he won pretty handily, It was odd. It was very similar to 2016. So, but all the pictures, let's just quickly cruise through them. There's with Eric and Don Jr. I don't want to go through every single. But even this photo right here, okay, this one, I'd always wondered where that is, this is in the White House. I believe this is the dinner he talked about where there was only 8 of them there, okay, and one of them is his own son again, Lev Parnas, and there's Igor Fruman, there's Pence, there's Giuliani, and they have yarmulkes on, so I don't know if it was some kind of Jewish celebration or what. The date is April 11th. I'm not Jewish, so I don't know if that has any, if that's around a Jewish holiday. I'm not real sure. Anyways, but it's extremely personal in nature. So the fact that Trump wouldn't know this individual is ridiculous. And the 8th person, I guess, could possibly be the person who's taking the photograph. I have a guess on who that is, but I'm not going to say because I don't know for sure. So, but you get the point. They know each other very well. And then there's just, he goes on, he's with Cam, this is him in, on the jet with Giuliani everywhere. He goes everywhere with him. Yeah. I don't want to waste time with this. Sorry. Come on, dude. Even after the campaign, after the Mueller report was issued. That's in, I think that's in Warsaw, Poland. I'm not positive. They were celebrating in the hotel in one of Trump, I think the Trump International in Washington, D.C. Oh, man. Totally screwing this up. Come on, dude. There it is. Right there. Congratulations, Team Trump. Job well done. Even during our celebration dinner, everybody hard at work. Trump 2020. Fairly certain that's Trump International, and it is. Trump International Hotel, Washington, D.C. And I think he's the one, he's taking the picture, so you don't see him in the picture. One of the things that's odd about this Instagram, it's not odd, but there's a couple photos in 2015, some of the ones I showed you with Ivanka, early on, and then with Trump and his son in 2015, the video. And then it goes dark for several, from then all the way till like the midterms. And we don't know if he deleted. I mean, the reporter who did all this and got access to this account described this on CNN last night. We don't know if it went dark or if he deleted a bunch of other stuff in between 2015. Those pictures and all these in 2018 before or during the midterms. So. That same picture here, and I believe this is election night. I believe, and he's right there. In case you couldn't tell. And there's other photos of him. There's one with it's a Getty photo, and I can't show it because it's like it costs $400 to show or something like that. And I noticed they don't use it, so I don't think I'm going to show that. And that's with him. He's at a campaign stop on the 4th. Okay, on the 4th of November, I get 2 days before the election. I'm pretty sure the election was the 6th. I'm assuming this is election day, which this picture cracks me up because it's election day when he won. Okay, and DeSantis does not look too happy right there. I mean, he just looks pretty. There it is. I wanted to show you the up. I mean, like he's not looking like a person who just won an election. And there's Lev Parnas. If that's I'm pretty sure that's the victory after he won, but I'm not positive. So, and there's a point I'm going to get to. I'm going to get to my take on it, and it's not huge. I've already talked about it in another video before I knew this, and I don't want to shout, silly. So, but this is of him at November 4th at some campaign event with Pam Bondi too, who's a big Trump supporter, the Attorney General of Florida. Florida is the epicenter of this corruption, dude. Huge. But then he's on another photograph. So in a photograph taken November 4th, 2 days before the election that propelled DeSantis to victory, Parnas is next to the smiling candidate at a campaign rally in South Daytona. Former Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi is standing nearby in the shot, which was published. I don't know why she's former Attorney General. I thought she was current Attorney General. Anyways, other photographs show Parnas at a Boca Raton event held 200 miles away an hour and a half later. DeSantis last week acknowledged knowing Parnas, who was arrested this month along with Igor Fruman, another South Florida businessman. Both men are associated with Rudy Giuliani, President Donald Trump's personal lawyer. Federal prosecutors in Manhattan have accused Parnas and Fruman of attempting to funnel foreign money into U.S. elections and influence U.S. politics on behalf of at least one Ukrainian government official. Other pictures of Parnas with DeSantis at campaign events have surfaced, but the Getty photographs appear to show the two men traveling together. During the heat of the gubernatorial campaign, DeSantis eventually edged out Tallahassee Mayor Andrew Gillum after a recount. He won pretty handily after the recount. Scott's was closer. But he was way down in the polls. Okay, way down in the polls, dude. And then all of a sudden, mysteriously, he wins. Just like 2016, dude. So, and then there's a dispute of how he traveled. Did he trick? Because Giuliani had a private jet. We don't know whose private jet that is. I mean, I try to figure out, but it's not really that hard. I mean, I wouldn't know. So, DeSantis says he was on Giuliani's jet that I think was basically, going to the same stops or many of the same stops as DeSantis. But an attorney representing Parnas said that if he was in the pictures, he was likely on DeSantis' campaign plan. Either way, doesn't really matter. So the governor was not on the plane that Parnas was on, Ferry said, and that's DeSantis' spokesperson. DeSantis last week said his campaign had disgorged $50,000 in donations from the company created by Parnas and Fruman, described him as a typical donor who had attended Republican National Committee functions and Trump victory functions. Global Energy Partners, that was the two individuals, I believe, or just Parnas, I can't remember. I think it's both of them. Also gave $50,000 to DeSantis' Control Political Action Committee in June 2018. After the two men were indicted, DeSantis gave the money to the U.S. Treasury. Anyways. You get the point. So, you know, like I've said, and I brought this up in another video a long time ago about, you know, I mean, this is DeSantis Gillum, you know, in the days preceding the polls, you know, and it's just that Gillum was way ahead, man. You know, Gillum by, you know, considerable 7. These are all different polls, and this is on. Put myself back down. This is on the 5th. This is the day before the election, dude. The day before the election. Okay, don't scream. Stop. I don't like it when I scream. So, you know, it's St. Pete polls, Harris X, Quinnipiac, Emerson, Marist poll, Marist College poll, +4. This is all Gillum. +5, +6. I mean, +7, +5. You get the point. There were other races that were close, and I've heard several people, or at least a few people, blame this on the Project Veritas video that exposed the campaign manager. You know how easy that would be to set up. And there were other campaigns that Project Veritas targeted and got undercover video on, but none that were anywhere near like this. None. All those were pretty much already decided. You know, the only one that was slightly remotely questionable was, you know, McCaskill. But like Heidi Heitkamp, she was already toast. She was already like losing by. Same thing in Arizona. You can go on on all the ones they went over. I mean, I looked a little bit at it. But there's only one race that a certain person visited. In the entire midterm election, there's only one state that Hillary Clinton went to, which is Florida. Okay, and you know, days before actually, this became public, which was I think October 30th was the first time the Project Veritas video of that guy saying ridiculous things. But these are the other states these are the other races that Project Veritas had exposed a little bit and targeted. But they were nothing like this. Nothing, dude. Nothing. And this thing just turned on a dime overnight. Okay, here it is. I mean, this is Project Veritas had been out there for 5 days. Okay, and he was still up 7 days. The day before the election, and then the day of the election, somehow mysteriously, Gillum loses. Okay. And like I said, the only place that Hillary Clinton went to during the midterm elections, what is their connection to Florida, was Florida. And that's because all the corruption was in Florida. That's because, you know, the DNC was in Florida, okay? You know, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the chair of the DNC. She's a congresswoman from Florida. And that, you know, that the DNC being hacked, which I think is completely bogus. Totally bogus. That's what I believe. I think this is bogus too. I think it got totally set up again. And I think, you know, somehow they managed to rig this election in Florida and change it from just like 2016. And it just so happens that in the final days that this dude was you know, jumping around with him on another private jet with Giuliani from campaign stop to campaign stop. And that's pretty much the story there. Does DeSantis look very happy there? He doesn't look too happy for somebody who just won an election. Or, you know, became governor. Alrighty, man. That is the story there. It's a mess. But that's life, dude. That is life. All I ever wanted, all I ever needed is here in my arms. Words are very unnecessary. They can only do harm. Alright, thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me a like down below. And I will see you in the next video. There was another picture of him too at another campaign stop. It's him in the background. He's all over the place, dude. Later, man.